Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drakewing Gaming, and Subby on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Arches. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Okay. Brian suddenly stops talking, eyes narrowing. Cameron's pulse quickens as he wonders if Brian had just remembered his plan. What's wrong? His voice is still rough from the strangling, a deep soreness starting to emanate from the core of his neck. I don't know. I just like you better when you're smiling, but if I'm fucking boring, you just say so. It takes Cameron a few seconds to understand what Brian is even talking about, then a few more to scan the bear's thoughts. In Brian's mind, his smiling has a lot to do with how interesting the bear's over-explanation of her hypnol is, so Cameron quickly puts one on his face. Oh, sorry, it really is interesting. I'm just so overwhelmed with the drugs and... Shut up! Cameron shuts up. Brian starts to work his jaw like he's chewing something before clenching his fists. Cameron tenses up, preparing himself to be hit again. You're cute, but not that cute, and I'm not that stupid. I hate fags like you, sucking up and sucking dick so you can get what you really want. Brian's mind flicks through a few faces, but the only one defined enough for Cameron to comprehend is a fox in a red hat. Then Brian seems to relax, but the anger is still there, the bear having owned it to become more cool and collected, which only makes it all the more terrifying. Sure, stimulates and increases empathy in a normal brain, but if Brian abuses them to the point that amphetamines feel like caffeine, then it probably only increases his irritability and rage. That's what his mother was like at the end. It always confused Cameron as to why someone would want to do a drug that makes them feel worse. I got a better idea. Cameron gasps as Brian grabs him by the ear. No, stop! I can walk with you! I won't try to run— Ow! Cameron senses the bear's amusement at his fear of being pulled up by his ear again, and the coyote quickly stifles his begging, realizing he might shift Brian's interest back to using Cameron for torture rather than his abilities. The pain had been blinding, but it's nothing, absolutely nothing compared to what this bear has done to others. Cameron manages to settle into a stumbling walk as Brian pulls him along, bent over and trying to see the ground in the darkness, all while he tries to carefully follow the bear's rough, unpredictable movements. Every minute or so Cameron looks forward and sees the scenario he's aiming for still within reach, so he keeps walking. Meanwhile, a van emerges from the trees, parked a ways off to the side of the road. Brian freezes, staring. Then he lets out a surprised laugh. Well, I'll be damned! The fucker got away! Who? The coyote winces as Brian continues to hold him by his ear. Cameron hopes that he's talking about Devon, even though he can sense the presence of the younger bear just ahead of him. The coyote would be glad to be proven wrong about his abilities, especially if it means Devon gets away. But Cameron knows. That cat! I swear I shot him twice, too. And then again, he didn't do that weird jerking thing people do when you give him the kill shot, so I must have missed the second time. Thought maybe I just killed him with the first. Cameron looks where Brian is staring and sees the spot where Arturo must have been. Dark stains cover the leaves along with what looks like vomit, and Cameron feels his own stomach churn at the thought. Oh yeah. Oh, that's the stuff right there. Okay. Okay. It's difficult to connect his outgoing, oblivious friend to the mess, and Cameron feels guilt mingle with his misery as he realizes that what's happening to Artie is their fault. But he knows Artie is far away now, miles away, and Cameron silently encourages the cat to keep going, to do whatever he can to save them and himself, even though he's clearly in terrible shape. Cameron hopes Artie can hear him, even if he's awake right now. Cameron senses another ominous shift in the bear's motivation. Brian doesn't think that Artie will make it to the interstate, and he knows he should go looking for the cat. But everything is so fucked from the start. 3 young men who likely have close family and friend groups, all 3 of them injured and beaten, and all 3 knowing full well what Brian is capable of. There's no point to it anymore. Brian had almost reverted to thinking he'd get away with all this somehow, but no. This is the end. Well, guess that's it then. Figured it was getting close for a while now. Kinda knew that when I left the kid's phone ringing in my trailer. The calm in which Brian accepts his nearing demise makes Cameron want to try to escape all over again. Why can't this bear just end it without taking them down with him? It's the end for him, not them. Can I see Devon? Cameron half-heartedly smiles, hoping it might sway the bear, but he's not paying attention to the coyote. Brian shakes his head at the sober version of himself, the version that actually did plan to let Cameron go, because why would he add to his problems by killing the yote if said yote could take them all away? That's why he tried to be nice to him, and then of course things got out of hand. Cameron begins to shake as he senses Brian's arousal and excitement. He's thinking about Cameron, about his baggie full of bath salts, about how long it might take to find them in. Cameron blanches mentally, unsure of what that dark place full of death is, but he knows he does not want to go there. Where are you taking me? You're the psychic. Figure it out. Keeping his hold on the coyote, Brian pulls Cameron toward the van. It isn't long before Artie realizes that the lights along the interstate are actually a lot farther away than he had thought. He has no idea how long he's been walking, but it feels like at least an hour, and the road is maybe just a little closer. At this point, he's so weak, his movements so uncoordinated, that deep down he knows his body is about to give up. Every dizzy spell, every wave of anxiety, it terrifies the cat that he might have another seizure, and if he does, he knows he won't be getting back up. Artie, please. Cam? Artie looks around hopefully. He'd probably started crying right now if Cameron just showed up, if only because he wouldn't be alone anymore. But then Artie sees a pair of headlights closer than the others, and it gets closer and closer. Artie notes that the lights are coming right toward him, and he doesn't bother getting off the road, feeling like this might be a light at the end of the tunnel situation. Oh no! And then the lights slow and Artie hears the sound of an engine. What the fuck are you doing standing there like a fucking idiot on the fucking road? Artie's ears twitch, recognizing the voice from somewhere in his past and what might as well be another life. It's hard to tell because they're screaming at him. The car door opens and Artie just stands there lost in the light. I told you guys to fuck off. First the fucking bar is closed because of some fucking cold. Now you're still here to fuck with me? I just want to cunt and drink, to cunt and relax. Arturo furrows his brow, never having heard the particular word used in such a way. A figure starts to materialize in front of Arturo and finally he recognizes him. Oh yeah. What happened to you? The weasel stares at him, then tilts his head to the side, squinting before reaching out and turning Arturo slightly by the shoulder. Shit, there's no way. He couldn't be that fucking... The weasel trails off, then looks at Artie's face. Who did this? Artie reluctantly opens his mouth, for some reason feeling almost embarrassed about his condition. Bar. The weasel stares at him with an odd look. Bar? Yeah, I was at the bar. It's closed. Bear. Bear? Brian? Arturo nods and regrets it immediately as he almost falls over. Damn, you're real fucked up, aren't you? Arturo stares back at the weasel and notices his expression, like he's trying to decide something. It's not the right reaction to the situation. Artie suddenly feels like he might be in danger, but he has no idea why. All he remembers is that this old man had floored Devin with 2 swings, so combined with his current state, he can't do a thing. Then the weasel seems to come out of whatever it is he was thinking about. Well, I'll be damned. This is it then, isn't it? That stupid motherfucker. Alright, get in. We're going to the hospital. Arturo stumbles forward, and once the weasel realizes he's having trouble moving at all, he helps Arturo inside. As he does, the weasel sucks in a breath, grimacing. Jesus Christ, this is really making me not want to do what I'm going to have to do after this, but you know, everything's got to end eventually. Arturo isn't sure what the old weasel is talking about, but if he's talking about taking him to the hospital, then he's at least on the right track. Friends. Yeah, I'll call Peyton PD once to drop you off. Gotta make sure I can beat him back, though. Arturo decides that it's the weasel who's acting strange. But as the strange weasel starts to make a 3-point turn to drive back toward the interstate, Arturo is only grateful. He's done what he can. Now the rest is up to God. He can only pray. So he prays for Devin, Cameron, Maria, and himself. Because if he survives, he knows the road in front of him is long, fractured, and broken. Devin feels his body bouncing and shaking on a hard metallic surface, occasionally leaning from side to side, feeling like he's lying down in a car taking sharp turns. The bear opens his eyes, groaning. Dev? Cam? Is Cameron driving? Cody has his own sedan that he drives, but usually if they're out together, it's in Devin's Jeep. At first he thinks maybe he's given the wheel to Coyote so that he himself can get some rest. But they came in the Jeep, and Cameron can't drive standard, right? Come on, stop assuming things. Lately, Cameron seems to bristle whenever he does. Lately isn't ever since they got to Echo. Devin, I'm here. How are you doing? Cameron's concerned, gentle voice is clearly masking something strained and desperate underneath. Cameron, what's it? What's wrong? I told you, he's all drugged up. But he can barely talk. Cam? Exactly, I already told you I roofied him. It's just like blacking out. Anyway, it's wearing off. He's just tired. Is that blood? Why is he bleeding? Did it to himself. Imagine what a mess we'd have if he wasn't drugged, right? Never trust a bear to stay put when you chain him up. Devin, can you hear me? Are you okay? Yes. Then he's drifting back to sleep again. More sounds of driving on a rough road. gravel grinding under wheels and hitting the undercarriage. When he comes to again, it's stopped, and Devin realizes the van doors are open. Looks like it did wear off just in time. Can I go to him, please? Devin sees that one of Cameron's ears is twisted in the older bear's grasp. The coyote's head tilted to the side, wincing as he tries to get a better look at Devin. The younger bear becomes very still, seeing his best friend being held by the worst person he's ever met. One of his soft, sensitive ears that Devin had played with countless times in the past is now twisted tightly onto itself. In Brian's other paw, he holds a shotgun. On top of it all, Brian looks angrier than usual. In fact, he's looking at Cameron with an expression of utter contempt, all while Cameron isn't paying attention to him, looking intently at Devin instead. Of course, fucking typical. I'm glad I saved this. He suddenly grabs the coyote by the shoulders and turns Cameron around to face him, to face away from Devin. Even so, there's no confusion as to what happens to Cameron next. Brian turns slightly away from Cameron, then spins and sends the back of his fist across the coyote's muzzle. The sound is so loud, Devin is shocked awake, adrenaline compensating for the sedative. At first, Devin refuses to believe what he just saw. The sound like that could have been made with Cameron's muzzle. The coyote's head snaps to the right before he instantly starts to crumple, but Brian holds him up. Hey! Devin yells automatically, shocked by what he saw. He'd never seen someone hit that hard in his entire life. In the silence that follows, the indistinct sound of something small clatters around the van, as if a plastic bead had been thrown against the metal walls. Devin hears it land next to him, and looking down, he sees something long spinning in place before finally coming to a stop. It's thin, white, and it starts wide, but tapers to a sharp point. Devin only has a moment to focus on it before he grunts as Cameron lands on top of him, Brian having pushed him over. As he's looking down at the coyote and sees the blood beginning to seep from his mouth, Devin realizes the white thing is one of Cameron's teeth, and shocked anger overcomes the fear. Hey! All sense has seemingly left Devin, everything he's feeling and thinking condensing to that one word that he screams to express his rage. Cam! Cam! Panic is making him breathe fast, though he tries to keep his chest from heaving to avoid bouncing Cameron's head. Brian had hit him so hard that it definitely could have killed him. What makes it all the more terrifying is the way Cameron's body went limp. It had been so reminiscent of Artie's sudden collapse when he had suddenly lost his life. But Cameron is breathing, though it's in a terrible snorting way. Cammy, baby, can you hear me? A panic in his voice lowers to an almost pitiful whine when he stares at the coyote twitching, his eyes half open and his head turning back and forth slowly. Alright, y'all, I'm going to pause it right there. We're going to see how this resolves in the next video. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!